Hey guys, ROundedtiktak here, bringing you the first look at the new spear, the Lancelot, the newish. We kind of knew about it for a little bit. The new spear that just came out literally an hour ago, and I want to bring you guys my opinions and thoughts on it. I've played 3 games with it, at least enough to get a general feel and idea for the game. Also with my knowledge about Fortnite PvE, because I've been playing it for 2 years, that I could just kind of know what will and what won't work. So I wanted to bring you guys this video first and give you an actual breakdown of what's good about this weapon, what's bad about this weapon, how does it work, what character you should use it on, and everything in between. We haven't had a weapon update in a very long time, at least it feels that way, and the last thing we got was the Spectral Sword, which is arguably the best weapon, the best melee weapon that has ever been released in Fortnite. So of course I'm going to draw some comparisons to that, although it's not 100% fair because the character is different, the skill set is different. There's definitely some interesting things going on here, things that are actually new to Fortnite. Like, for example, this is the first weapon in the game that has a different hit chain than every other weapon in the entire game, which is, if you don't know what a hit chain is, it's like the combo the weapon does on a basic attack. This one happens to be 1-2, 1-2-3, which is interesting, but is it enough to take the weapon into the next level? The heavy attack is interesting, and we'll get into that too. This is the Lancelot, guys. I hope you enjoy this one. So what I did it a little differently. As you guys know, I'm hurting for perk up and reperk at the moment. However, I still leveled it up in the meantime. I made everything blue, tried it out, and then I reperked it as I saw fit. Number 1, going Obsidian instead of Shadow Shard is 100% acceptable. This is a super slow attacking weapon at 0.6 seconds per attack speed, which you want to keep as low as possible because it is super slow. So that second slot, you're going to put attack speed. The third one, I'm going to make mine energy, as I make almost everything. This rolls similarly to the Gravedigger with 1 crit chance, 1 crit damage, and a base damage roll. That is, it used to be the best rolls that were ever made in the game until new weapons came out. Let's talk about the 6th perk as well. Hitting an enemy with this weapon grants 8 armor for 5 seconds, stab 6 to 5 times. It's kind of garbage. Granted, you'll stay alive a lot longer within the fray, but ninjas themselves, especially if you do a dim mock or bioenergy build on the ninja, will be plenty tanky, and this perk just kind of goes to waste. So you guys can see it on your screen now. Crit rating, attack speed, energy, damage, crit damage is 100% the way to go. There is no argument here. You need the attack speed because it is a super slow attacking weapon. It does do a decent amount of damage, nothing too crazy, but it does do a lot of damage, and the secondary attack is what we're really here for. For your character plus their team perks, there's only 2 characters that you can use. Number 1 is Piercing Lotus Edge. His commander perk is 200% heavy attack efficiency minus, I guess, or buff, whatever you want to call it, but he's not the one to use. There is an animation delay on the heavy attack which will not let you spam it like you spam the Spectral Blade. So what you really want to do here is use Deadly Lotus Luna. She has a cool buff where she does 50% extra damage to afflicted targets. She causes affliction, and her affliction is based on weapon damage at 18.7%, meaning if you hit on a normal attack, it does less affliction damage. However, if you crit, and that's why we go crit chance and crit damage into the build, you will hit harder. And the numbers that I saw in the parties that I was in, just testing this weapon and goofing around, on a normal hit, the affliction would hit for about 5k on a hit that did about 40,000 to 35,000 to 40,000, and the big crit for 120,000, the affliction would hit for 40k a tick. Before we get into some bad stuff, let's finish going over the build. For the team perk, I would absolutely choose Bioenergy Source or Dim Mock. There's nothing here that really needs you to choose any of the other perks. You're not going to be using her smoke screen that much. The kick is just on cooldown, and it's not really worth it to use anything else except bio energy source or Dimmock. You're going to be in the fray of the battle. You're going to need to be a little tanky. That's why their armor is on that 6th slot anyway, and these are, in my opinion, the best 2 perks. The support team is going to consist of corrosive strikes for extra affliction damage. However, I'm not 100% sure if they stack, but also the slow. The attack speed on this weapon is super slow, and I cannot imagine a build without corrosive strikes. Riot shields can actually walk you around in circles. Rapid charge is the reason we do not need to use Piercing Lotus Edge. It gives you plenty of energy back, and you'll never ever be low on energy, I promise. Considering she has Smokescreen, Ninja Stars, and Kick, you're never going to use abilities on cooldown. Pointy Fury will allow you to spam the heavy attack as much as you can, and there's nothing wrong with the heavy attack. In fact, it's good, it's unique, it's different, it does a lot of damage, it hits multiple targets, and I'll show you in a second, it does stop a smasher mid-charge, which is, besides Bull Rush, I think the first weapon that guarantees to do that. So maybe there's an argument that this could actually be a constructor's weapon, and you sit at the base and stop smashers from charging, because it worked 100% of the time out of the times I did test it. We're gonna have Assassination on here for just the extra damage stacked up, because it does have a 1-2-1-2-3 hit chain, allowing you to apply Assassination even faster, and then Survivalist for just some extra health and survivability within the build. Remember that 6th perk is armor, so it does help hanging out within the fray, even with Exploding Death Burst, even with slowing pools, acid pools, it doesn't matter. This build, you will not die. I don't think I died one time during all of this recording. Lastly, we're gonna have Survivalist. You guys know what Survivalist does. It just keeps you alive longer. Like I said, we're gonna be in the middle of the fray. We're gonna be fighting our butts off, trying to get those big damage numbers that also do that huge affliction damage. That's what we're going for. So there could be an argument to get a poke and pray kind of thing. You hit them once for 120,000, you run away to another target, and you let the affliction tick them down a little bit as you are focusing another target. That's an option here, 100%. The affliction does hit really hard, but Survivalist is the last thing in our build to make this weapon do what it's supposed to do, which is going to be in the fray disrupting enemies, because if it doesn't kill them, it does knock them away and possibly break their impact guard, which is another argument for why this actually might be a constructor weapon. So with all of those positives, let's talk about some negatives about the weapon. This wouldn't be a Fortnite update, this wouldn't be a Fortnite weapon without some bugs. Am I right? I feel like I'm right, and everybody else knows that. So the one that became instantly apparent to me is there is a bug with the heavy attack. So if an enemy is too close to you, and I would say by too close, 0.75 tiles, so 3/4 of a tile away from you, the weapon will bug out and not do what it's supposed to do. Now, what it's supposed to do is it does a thrusting attack with the character running after it, doing AoE damage and knocking enemies back as they go. However, it seems to be if a character or an enemy is too close to you, all that will happen is that you'll hit this invisible wall and bounce off of it, doing absolutely no damage, or at least not as much as you should be doing, and reset your entire heavy attack animation, which is an issue. Now, granted, this is probably an easy fix, but it's still something that's very annoying and probably will and can get you killed often. But that's something that might be fixed. Let's talk about something that won't be fixed, the attack speed. The attack speed is super slow. There's only 2 characters that have even a remote spear buff, and they're both being used in these clips of footage that you're seeing, and still it comes nowhere even close to the amount of damage, plus the amount of team perks, plus the commander perks that you can use for a sword, and even maybe a scythe, because anatomy lessons and all those other things work for scythes as well, because they are considered bladed weapons. A spear is considered, I don't know off the top of my head, a pointy weapon, it's classified differently. So you cannot use the same perks that you would use normally for a sword or a scythe, which is an issue, and I don't understand why, because especially this one has a blade on the end. It should work for that. So you're never going to be able to get the same amount of damage that you could from a regular weapon, a regular sword, or a regular scythe. And lastly, the attack speed is pretty redonkulously slow. Even with 30% attack speed on the weapon itself, it doesn't seem to help that much. Granted, it one-shots mostly everything, but if you're not using the heavy attack, it's only single target damage. It has a very cool 5-hit attack chain, which is pretty cool. I have to admit, I'm proud of Epic Games for doing that. That's pretty cool, but it's only single target, and then you have to use that heavy attack animation. Lastly, comparing it to the other sword, the Spectral Blade, it does not have an instant animation drop off, meaning you have to wait for the animation to finish to be able to use the heavy attack again. All in all, it's a somewhat decent weapon. There's only 1 or 2 times you're ever going to use it, and that's basically to try it out. I don't see any future ninja spear mains coming anytime soon, but at least it's a cool, unique weapon that Epic Games brings to us. And look how much success they had with the Spectral Blade. I guess they were trying to recapture that lightning in a bottle. Did they do it? Not really, mainly because of the team perks that we have are available just aren't as good as anything that you can put on a sword. Yes, it hits hard. Yes, it does a lot of damage, especially on single target due to the affliction stack. As soon as you crit, it hits for like 40k a tick, at least with an energy roll on the weapon. It's decent for what it is, but swords definitely out damage it, and on top of that, the Spectral Blade is just leagues above this thing, even with its unique heavy attack. That's it, guys. Those are my thoughts and opinions on the new spear, the Lancelot. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, I make videos like this almost every day. Like, seriously, I've been doing it almost every single day, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. You seem to be. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out a lot. If you can, hit the like button, that's great too. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, TikTak out.